Welcome to Cake Playground, where it's all about the fun. This lesson is on how to make modeling chocolate roses from a 5-petal cutter. You will need the following materials and equipment: modeling chocolate, a small 5-petal cutter, and a small rolling pin. Let's start off by warming the dough to make it pliable like Play-Doh. It starts off a little hard and crumbly, but if you use the warmth of your hands and your fingertips and palms to knead it, it'll be just the consistency you need. We're going to start off with a ball of clay about 1.5 inches in diameter and break it in half. Use 1/2 of the dough to shape a cone base. Roll it into a smooth ball, place it on your work surface, flatten the bottom, and then shape the top into a cone. Roll the other half of the dough to 1/8 to 1/16 inch, rolling from the center out and turning after each roll. You don't have to be too precise. It will look like this. Using your 5-petal cutter, cut a flower from the clay. Press the cutter in and pull the excess away. Then lift it up and clean off the edges. And then you're going to press the clay out of the cutter. Repeat so that you have 2 flowers, and then cut out each individual petal. You will need 11 petals, so I'll show you how to make one by hand too. Form the rose by putting the petals on the cone. Thin the edge of the first petal and then place it about 1/8 of an inch above the point of the cone. Wrap one side of the petal around the other, and you don't want to see too much into the interior so you see the cone. And then all the remaining petals will be thin before you use them. Petal number 2 will go where petal number 1 overlaps, so place it about 1/8 of an inch above the point of the petal. And leave the 2 side flaps open. Petal 3 will go opposite petal 2. Now, looking from the back of the petal, the right side is going to go on the outside as you overlap the petals. This will create a spiral look to the petals. So shape the petals at the base and then bend them back slightly with your fingers. Petals 4, 5, and 6 will go on in the same way. The first petal, 4, is going to sit where petals 2 and 3 overlap, and again about 1/8 of an inch above the last petals. So adhere it to the base and leave the flaps of the petals open. Petals 5 and 6 will go on to form a triangle of petals. So 4, 5, and 6, when you look down, will look like a triangle. Like we did before, we're going to overlap the petals with the right side of the petal on the outside to form the spiral. And then squeeze the flower at the base to form it. Then you're going to take and slightly bend back the petals with your fingers. We need 5 more petals. We're missing one, so I'm going to show you how to make one by hand. So take a small ball of the clay, and then flatten one side like the top of the petals, like we've been flattening the other petals we made with the cutter. You don't really have to be too precise on the bottom. Place this petal where one set of the previous petals overlap. Then we're going to continue with the remaining petals, thinning them and then placing them in a spiral around the rose. Again, looking from the back, the right side is going to be on the outside. Now, I'm pulling away the first petal here because the last petal needs to go underneath the first petal. So you can curve back these petals also, and then squeeze the base of the rose to form it and shape it so we can take it off of the cone. Once you've pinched the base and made it narrow, you can trim it off with a pair of scissors. And then shape the bottom to the shape that you want it. And here's the finished rose. I've shown the rose here with a ribbon rosebud, and here with a rosebud with petals that I made by hand. The tutorials for these types of roses and the tutorial on making modeling chocolate is available at CakePlayGround.com. Please visit CakePlayGround.com for product lists and other tutorials. At Cake Playground, it's all about the fun.